everybody, my name is Brady and we are back with another episode of Flag Review. What the hell is going on right now? So we've been doing a charity over the past, I don't even remember how long it's been at this point. We've been doing a charity on the channel for the Native American Heritage Association, and as you may or may not be able to see if it ends up focusing, don't even worry about it. We've passed $500, which is pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that. We've got plenty of time. The goal was 10,000, and we still have 206 days at the point I'm recording this, so we're not even really tripping about that. But 500. And we're at 575. We're almost at 600. So for the milestones, I wanted to do special videos and stuff. So I decided that I would bring back what is kind of a dead series on this channel, but one for the people who have kind of been around for a while. Like early on in the early days of the channel, I started a series called Flag Review. A lot of you may have seen it. A lot of you probably haven't, which is kind of crazy to think. It's where I get flags, flags and stuff, the flags on the poles, and they wave them, and oh, say, can you see? Yeah, that sort of stuff, and I review them. As if they are just cheap graphic design. So I would like to emphasize that this series is a relatively light series. We kind of just poking fun at things, and we're not trying to disrespect people's culture or whatever. If anything, I disrespect everyone's culture equally in this series. If your flag sucks, your flag sucks. If your flag's good, your flag's good. So I look at the flags, and I give them a star rating. But I decided I wanted to change that. I don't know if we're going to be doing a lot more flag review after this, but assuming we do, we're making a change here. I did like the 5-star rating. I don't really like that because I have to keep up with what I've given what rating in the past. I don't want people to come back to me later and be like, you gave this flag like a 3-star and somehow you gave this like a slightly less good flag the same grade. How do you think these two are possibly in the same league? Yeah, it's too much to keep up with. The more flags I do, the more messy the rating system goes. So I'm going to simplify it. We're going to do a thumbs up rating, as in I'd keep it. I would keep using this flag. It's a pretty alright flag. It's better than it is bad. Or the thumbs down flag. In which case, yeah, go back to the drawing board. If you really want to impress me, and you know whose opinion really matters in this case. This guy. Alright, so today we're going to be doing flags from Native American groups, which I found out there's a lot of those. It turns out. A lot of them don't have their flags in like high quality digital renderings online, so I just decided to go with like the main ones on the Wikipedia page. So there's like, I don't know, like 6 or 7. So we're going to run through them. The first one, the one that we've had on screen, is the Navajo Nation flag. And I'm kind of blown away by this flag. A lot of you know that I like simplicity in my flags, and I wouldn't say this flag is simplistic by any means. But one thing I do like is where you can really make colors pop. And there was a very unique choice of colors in making this flag that I really appreciate. It's got like this tannish, beige, I'm not sure what color you would call that in the background. That's not a color I see very often used in flags, and it's prominent. We got different shades of brown. Brown is not a very commonly used thing, but it like pops pretty well on the beige, and we have like the rainbow. It's like an incomplete rainbow. It only has a few colors, which I'm fine with because it keeps the color palette from getting a little bit too diverse. I like that they did a simplified version of the rainbow. There is a little more than I would typically like on a flag. I like it to be like very simple, very minimalistic typically, but I generally like this flag. If I were to do any sort of redesign stuff, like maybe I would simplify some of this stuff in the center, having like, I assume this is supposed to be like a crude map rendering, or a pretty good map rendering. I'm not exactly sure. My geography skills are not great in regards to the Navajo Nation or in general. So I assume this is supposed to be like kind of like a layout of the area or something, which I think is really cool. It's got the mountains. I generally think this is a nice flag. Yeah, it defies some of the conventions that I like in flags. It is more complicated than I would like, but it's unique. It's got like a really fun general design. I think I will remember this flag if I see it again. I'll be like, oh, that's the Navajo Nation flag. And that's always a good sign when it's a flag that I could remember. I like to look this up. When did they adopt this flag? They adopted it in 1968. So sometimes I'm blown away by how new some of these flags are. What do we have? The first Navajo tribal flag has adopted. Okay, so this is like kind of an early idea behind it. I like that they changed like the background colors and made the colors a little bit stronger, but they kept the general idea. And seeing them flying this version of the flag, I think it looks good. I think it looks good in motion. Well, I don't see it in motion, but you know what I'm saying. All right, so let's check out the next one. Okay, some of these, not the best digital scan renderings or whatever. They're not going to all be great. And I'm going to try not to hold that against the flag, because I'll assume if I see it in person, it's got, I'd imagine it would have a pretty good rendering. But this one, it does have kind of the issue of the, just kind of a seal on a plain background sort of thing. And I'm not really huge on that. That's a big problem we see in a lot of state flags. If I go to this, is it going to have anything? No. Oh, wait a second. Let me go back here. So if I go back here, okay, so the flag of the Navajo Nation actually has its own Wikipedia page. This other one would just redirect me to the Osage Nation Wikipedia page rather than one for the flag. So it's not as I suppose, popular of a flag, which I can see why. I think this one, it does what it's supposed to do, but it's not particularly exciting. I kind of like this, I'm not sure what this shape is supposed to be. I'm not sure if this is another case where this is to represent like the shape of a kind of land, but it seems a little too linear to be that. This little blue part in the center. I was seeing if I could zoom in. It doesn't seem to do much. There's no zoom in there. I don't mind most of the imagery in the middle. It's just not particularly exciting. I would say I'd give this one, the first one's a thumbs up. This one's going to be a thumbs down. It's kind of just got the seal on a very basic flag design. I think they're capable of more with that. Yeah, so sorry guys. We got the Oneida and, sorry, I've never said this one out loud, Ori Indian Reservation. I'm sorry whenever that stuff happens and I see a word that I've seen written a million times, but I never really had a reason to say it out loud. That's never as fun. So this one here, it comes off more as a seal than the first one, but it's less like a seal than the second one. Like, it's got that, like, circle thing on a plain background thing, and I would say that's a little bit of a to me. You know, I get a little nervous around that, but the imagery is strong. It doesn't have writing on it. I think that's one of the things with this first one that kind of doesn't work for me. Like, having writing on a flag, I like for the imagery to speak for itself. That's one thing that's really strong about this first one. It stands out. I think the imagery kind of speaks for itself, and I will remember it as the Navajo Nation flag. I don't think I'm going to have any problems with that. With this one, it's just kind of a seal on a flag. The imagery is not very exciting. It's got writing on it. It does not speak for itself. That could, if you wrote any other name on that, it could represent whatever. This one, it's kind of got some generic imagery to it. It's got the what I assume is an eagle or a hawk or something. But yeah, a lot of the imagery is simple, but I generally am okay with this one. It's not bad. It could be more exciting. So this one I think would be a slightly more hesitant thumbs up. Right now, the Navajo one is my favorite out of all of them that we've seen so far. So let's see what we got here. Oh, this is okay. Let's assume that if we see this manifested, it would look a little bit cleaner. I would assume. So we've got the power pole. I know it's not a power pole, but I think of like a big red long stick, and I think of the power pole from Dragon Ball. He's got the power pole with like the feathers attached, and it's relatively standard imagery. I think this previous one, while it does have kind of standard imagery that I would expect in Native American symbolism and stuff. Oh, actually, I didn't notice that these were people here, the little white figures here. I think that gives them a little bit more points there. That was subtle, so I'm a little happier with that one. But I like the layout of this one more than this one. This one has kind of typical imagery, but it's less exciting. It feels a little less artistic, and the writing on the flag is not the best, and it's such a typical looking font. Do we have a... No, we don't have a Wikipedia page for the flag itself. That's unfortunate. And purple and gold. Okay, let's talk about purple and gold. I think they can be good colors together, but I think having purple and gold, you'd want something very particular to kind of make everything else on the flag kind of pop out when it comes to in relation to the purple and gold. And I don't know if these colors necessarily pop in the right way, so I don't know if the background colors really work that way. I'm sure the colors are significant to the Tohono people, or Tohono. I wish I knew how to say that one. I'm sorry. I'm so bad with my understanding of Native American culture. I'm a little bit more ignorant than I'd like to be. I know some very specific groups that are a little bit more local. That's kind of the thing. There's so many different groups, and they're all very different in their own sort of ways, and it's like studying a different country in a lot of ways. So I would consider myself pretty ignorant to a lot of the places, a lot of them outside of my region, though I do know some that go down like the East Coast a little bit. I emphasize that part. I'm going to say this one's a thumbs down. They could have gone back to the drawing board with this one. I really think the background colors might be it. And it's weird because I like the idea of purple and gold going together. It just feels like it's the most exciting thing going on here. And then we have like the stuff in the foreground that doesn't really pop the same, you know? So I'm going to say this one's more of a thumbs down for me. It has some of the elements that I dislike about like some bad state flags as well. But at least it's not just a seal on a... come on! Oh, we had to do that. Oh, but this one has a flag Wikipedia page. I like to see when these were adopted. 1978. Like, yeah, a lot of these are not going to be as old as you might think. With flags, you think they last a really long time or whatever. So this is the Cherokee Nation. I noticed, like, when it comes to names that I'm far more familiar with, it shows because they have their own Wikipedia page for the flag. The renderings are just higher quality. This is like a really clean looking thing. It is a seal on a relatively plain background. I will say that, but maybe I'm a little biased because it is just a higher quality image, so it's inevitably going to look more appealing to my eyes. But I really like the color choices. I think green and orange are a bit underrated in the way that they work together. Orange is my favorite color, so that's another bias that I gotta kind of wear on my sleeve. I like so much of it. The border thing on flags, having these little more complex border things we got going on here. They're hit and miss. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I kind of like this one. I think this one's pretty good, and I think it makes the orange really stand out well. I think I would like to. I like that we got this little black star in the corner. I don't know what it means, but I know it's gotta mean something, and I kind of like that feeling of like, okay, I'm not sure what that means because I haven't been educated on that, but I see that I'm like, okay, that's gotta have some significance right there. I feel like this flag could win it for me if it didn't have just the state seal. Not the state seal, sorry. I'm used to saying that. Just their seal in the center. If it was just something simple hanging out in the center, I feel like this would get a pass for me, but just seal on a flag, that's kind of a thumbs down for me, you know? I want to like everything about this because I love the colors. I love the use of like these kinds of stars rather than the standard 5-sided star. I love that. There's just so much really cool about it. The seal, it's just kind of a lame choice to put on flags in general. That's why I don't like most of US state flags, because they're just seals on a bed sheet, and that's kind of lame. And as far as seals go, it's not particularly exciting. It's got the star on it, and you know, I like the star as kind of a standalone thing, but we get plenty of that around here. And then we got the little reef thing, and that's very standard seal imagery. I'm gonna say no. If you fix this little center thing, even just put something simple in the center. If you want to move like this black star and put it at the center, it probably would have been a pass for simple imagery, strong colors, and it makes me think like, oh, what could that possibly mean? But yeah, it's just a lame choice, you know. Just seals are lame. All right, what do we got here? Oh, that's a little weird. Oh, this one's got a Wikipedia page. Let's check it out. Adopted in 2002. Okay, this one's really new. Like, really new. If I was alive at the time it's adopted, it's very new to me. It does have elements to it that scream modern design. It's got the 3 vertical stripes, which is pretty cool. I love the choice of colors for the 3 vertical stripes. This is not a combination of colors that I think of very often. And I think if you just put those 3 on a flag and it was just a plain flag, it would still feel kind of unique. Because, like, combining these colors in this way is just not something I can think of being done, like, on a major flag that I would be aware of. Then we get to this center stuff, and I'm a little confused. Okay, so we have Hopi or Hopi? I assume it's Hopi, because it's just one O, but I don't know. They could pronounce it in all sorts of ways, for all I know. There's writing on a flag. That's already a little weird. We have this circle thing with little slices of pizza with a single pepperoni on each of them. That's interesting. Maybe if this was on its own, it would be cool. This is like a flower thing, right? Let me actually get a little thing behind it. Comments about the flag are encouraged. The flag represents Hopi way of life and called... that doesn't tell me anything. Turquoise. I want to know the symbol. The earth symbol, main symbol of Hopi people. Okay. It not too bad. I want to know about the stuff on the side of it. 2 stalks of corn. Okay. The main food. Okay, that would make sense. Emerge from the corners of mountains. I like that. That's the main thing I needed there. I like it in principle. I think it could have been drawn a little better. You ever do like one of those? I think when I'm in elementary school, I've had like little things where they have little contests where the kids get to design. So it feels like something that like. It had a lot of thought put into it, but it was, in fact, drawn and rendered by a kid. But I kind of have a soft spot for it. I feel like I'm going to give it a thumbs down with, like, the caveat that I like a lot about it, and if it was just a little bit cleaner looking and they get rid of the silly writing on it, I might be down with this, because I like the idea in general. I just think it could be, like, re-executed. Because I couldn't tell that was a corn stalk. I guess I would assume those are mountains, but I don't know. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. This is the Johnston Atoll, which is considered, what, a territory thing at this point. That's an unofficial flag of, okay, got it. So this was flag review today. So we got thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down. So 2 out of 6. It's not wonderful, but like I really wanted to like this last one here. These last two, actually, they have a lot that I like, and they're kind of like teetering a little bit. Like little things could be corrected to point my thumb in the upward direction, but they're kind of like teetering, kind of going downward. So that was flag review. I don't know if I'm ever gonna do it again, but if I do, let me know what you want me to check out. I still have some flags that I never got around to checking out. Ooh, we could do historical flags sometime. That could be fun. Oh, some of these are bad. And I'm not just talking about Confederate imagery here. Some of these are just not well designed. We'll see if we get there. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you to all of you who have contributed to the Native American Heritage Association. It's been a fun little journey, and if you have any ideas for what I should do when we hit $1,000, let me know. Because I'm short on ideas. I just brought back a very, very, very dead series for this. So if you have any other ideas, I could use them. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you tomorrow with another video. All right.